The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council had never known such silence. For 3,000 cycles, the vast circular hall had echoed with debates, negotiations, and the careful diplomacy that held together 247 species across 63 systems. But today, the silence was different. It was the silence of absence, of a void that shouldn't exist. Ambassador Erling's empty seat stood like an accusation. Council Administrator Velther, a towering crystalline being whose body refracted light into dancing patterns, called the emergency session to order. His voice resonated through the chamber with uncharacteristic urgency. Esteemed members, we convene today to address an unprecedented situation. 72 hours ago, humanity ceased all communication with the Galactic Council. Their ambassadors, their traders, their military liaisons all have withdrawn to their home system without explanation. Councillor Zixaran of the Vorthan Empire leaned forward, his multiple eyes gleaming with barely concealed satisfaction. Perhaps the humans have finally recognized their place in the galactic hierarchy. They were always too ambitious, too aggressive. Murmurs of agreement rippled through certain sections of the chamber. But not everyone shared this sentiment. Councillor Emily, the last human diplomat still outside Earth's system, stationed on the remote research colony of Arcturus 7, had transmitted a message. Before going silent herself, it played now on every screen in the chamber. Emily's face appeared, her expression carved from stone, her eyes reflecting something the council had never seen in a human before. Not anger, not fear, but profound disappointment. To the esteemed members of the Galactic Council, she began, her voice steady. For 112 years, humanity has served this council with dedication. We've mediated 47 conflicts. We've shared our technology freely, medical advances that saved billions, agricultural techniques that ended famines on 17 worlds, and defensive innovations that protected countless species from extinction. She paused, and something flickered across her face. We asked for one thing in return: protection under council law, recognition as a protected developing species until we could stand among you as equals. Instead, for the past decade, you've systematically voted against every human petition. You've imposed sanctions on our trade routes. You've denied our requests for representation on the Security Directorate. And when the Craft Dominion began aggressive surveys of our outer colonies, when they established military installations within our claimed territories, we brought our evidence to you. 17 times we brought it to you. The chamber remained deathly quiet. 17 times. You told us to seek diplomatic solutions, to be patient, to remember our place as the younger species. Emily's jaw tightened. 3 days ago, the Craft Dominion launched what they called a police action against our mining colony. On Kepler 4 for to be, 2,000 civilians died. 400 were children. Several councillors shifted uncomfortably. We brought this to emergency session. We asked for council intervention, and you voted by a margin of 184 to 63 to table the discussion, pending further investigation. The investigation you've been promising for 12 months. Emily stood, and the camera angle widened to show her in full diplomatic regalia, every medal she'd earned in service to the council glinting on her chest. Humanity has served the Galactic Council faithfully, but we see now what we perhaps should have understood decades ago. The council doesn't want partners. It wants subordinates. It doesn't seek justice. It seeks stability for the powerful at the expense of the vulnerable. She removed her ambassador's sash, folding it with precise military care. Humanity hereby withdraws from the Galactic Council. We will defend our own borders. We will forge our own alliances. And we will remember who stood with us and who stood aside when our children died. The recording ended. In the present, Administrator Velther attempted to restore order as arguments erupted throughout the chamber. But it was Councillor Therman, representative of the peaceful Luminari Collective, who finally silenced the chaos with a single, devastating question: has anyone checked humanity's recent resource acquisitions? The council's economic analyst, a nervous Quellan named Piptrix, pulled up the data with trembling appendages. What appeared on the screens drew gasps from every corner of the chamber. For the past 8 years since their petitions began being systematically rejected, humanity had been quietly stockpiling. They'd purchased, through untraceable intermediaries, enough raw materials to expand their fleet tenfold. They'd acquired manufacturing rights to 17 advanced weapons systems. They'd established hidden supply depots throughout neutral space. But most alarming was the list of species who'd secretly contracted with humanity. 73 civilizations, most of them younger species like humanity itself, all of whom had grievances against the Council's power structure. They've been preparing, Velther whispered, not for war against the Council, but for independence from it. Councillor Miranda of the Azurian Consortium brought up another display. This arrived an hour ago. From Ambassador Erling. Erling appeared on screen, standing on what was clearly a human warship's bridge. Behind him, through the viewport, hundreds of vessels hung in formation, human ships flanked by vessels from dozens of other species. Members of the Galactic Council, Erling said calmly, we do not come in anger, but in clarity. The Alliance of Independent Systems formally declares its sovereignty. We will not threaten Council space. We will not disrupt Council trade. But neither will we be bound by laws that don't protect us or subject to authorities that don't serve justice. He glanced off camera, and something like sadness crossed his features. Emily once told me that the true measure of civilization isn't how it treats the powerful, but how it protects the vulnerable. The Council failed that measure. We intend to meet it. The transmission ended, and the Grand Chamber erupted into chaos once more. But beneath the shouting, beneath the accusations and recriminations, every councillor felt the same cold realization settling into their bones. Humanity hadn't been defeated. Humanity hadn't been conquered. Humanity had simply stopped caring what the Council thought, and in the vacuum of their departure, the cracks in the Council's foundation, cracks humanity had been holding together, through sheer diplomatic effort, began to show. Within 6 months, 12 more species would withdraw. Within a year, the Galactic Council would face its first existential crisis in 3 millennia, all because they'd been too comfortable, too complacent, to notice when their strongest advocates quietly walked away.